So guys, we haven't done one of these videos in a long time, like 2 months. So we're going to look at how each single vehicle model has been doing week by week in terms of sales. Here, of course, we have the ES6. But before we dive into this, here's a good look at Model Y, which represents EV sales here in China, and NIO M7. And you can see we've had a dip for the Model Y, but then has pretty much stabilized, but dropping off slightly. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. But then for NIO M7, you can tell that it's actually doing okay. So hybrids are here to stay. All right, EREVs are here to stay. Now going back to the ES6 chart, you can see that in May-ish, we actually got like all-time highs. Well, near all-time highs in terms of ES6 deliveries, 2,702. Pretty decent delivery amounts, and you can tell this is a clear uptrend in deliveries. We have very good momentum, and going forward, this was all helped by those crazy nice incentives. Going forward, incentives are decreasing, so we could see a slight dip, but probably not too much. Moving on, here we have the ET5 and ET5T, and ET5T have just been making new record high deliveries. These cars have been really popular recently because of just the design of the ET5T. I mean, boys really love that design, and you can tell that it's kind of making higher highs in terms of deliveries, also lower lows. So it's kind of interesting, kind of doing this zigzag pattern in terms of deliveries, weekly deliveries. But you can tell in the past 2 weeks, kind of dipping a little bit. They're reducing the incentive for this vehicle model starting next week. Incentive is gonna be decreased by about 3,000 RMB per car. So we'll have to see if that hits sales. Now here we have the ES8. ES8 has been actually doing okay. This is NIO's current most expensive vehicle, and I think this is actually fantastic, and keeping it around 200 deliveries per week, and this is per week, by the way. So this is pretty nice. Keeping it 200 deliveries per week is pretty healthy in my personal opinion. All right. And then we have the 777. So ever since May, we've actually had very nice increase in 777, and this was all thanks to the ET7. So 777 represents the ET7, the ES7, and the EC7. Okay, so thanks to the new 2024 ET7 with rear screens, a lot of people have been buying that, the executive version with rear screens. It's very popular, and that's really helped boost sales up. I mean, in certain weeks, like for example this week, all right, there were over 350 deliveries of just the ET7 alone. So pretty spectacular. Also taking a slight dip, but I mean, this is probably going to remain stable at 200, 300-ish. So that's pretty nice thanks to the brand new 2024 ET7. The EC6, the EC6 is also very nice. I mean, right now the deliveries are way above the February-March numbers. Also thanks to incentive policy. And if you guys didn't know, the EC6 is selling based on design. All right, it's very similar to the ES6, but a lot of people are swayed by the design of the EC6. Some people look at the ES6 and they don't feel anything, but they look at the EC6 and they're sold based on design alone. So that has really helped them deliver a lot of vehicles. It's for those elegant people that seek an elegant car, but not so old-fashioned, but might also be like a, I don't know, like a girl. She might really want a EC6. My wife really likes the EC6 as well. So you got this great results. Now comparing everything, putting everything on a chart together. All right, so we got the red EC6, the yellow is the 777, and then the gray is the ES8. So what's really nice is before, you can tell in December, ES8 alone, the most expensive vehicle, sold more than the 777 combined. So that was kind of unacceptable in my opinion. But now you can tell that the 777 is above the ES8, which is what it should be. All right, So this is what a healthy delivery ratio looks like, okay, in my personal opinion. Yeah, EC6 over here, but you can still tell 80% of the deliveries are still the ES6 plus ET5, ET5T. Okay, so these make up most of the deliveries, and if you add EC6 together, that's like basically all, right? And then the ES8 and 777 make up very tiny amount of the deliveries that NIO does. Okay, so these cars are very important. They are decreasing the incentive for both these vehicle models in order to boost margins. So we'll have to see how that affects things going forward. Now, compared to competitors, this is interesting, all right? Competitors. So you can tell, I mean, Zeekr has been just on a roll. Interesting thing is that Zeekr 001 actually sells more than the Zeekr 007, which is cheaper. And it's just been like, look at that. They've been doing something like 3,000 plus for certain weeks. Okay, so Zeekr 001 is at first place, and then we got the ET5 and ET5T at second place. ES6, well, this is based on last week's numbers, but you can clearly tell BMW i3 still surviving. BMW i3 is more like they've just been doing price cuts like crazy to sell vehicles. Otherwise, they don't really sell. But other than that, BMW iX3 also, they've been doing quite crazy price cuts on this car, so that's also helped their sales go up a little bit. And then you have EC6 and the ES8 777, but you can tell in general, most cars have taken a slight dip, but yes, BMW's iX3 has increased, which is kind of peculiar, kind of interesting. And going forward, I do expect things to cool off a little bit, all right, just a little bit because of the incentive dropping. Also, you got to remember, we had BAS policy change on July 8th. Okay, on July 8th, free swap vouchers went from 40 down to 20, so that was kind of a slight incentive decrease. And next week they're also doing a incentive decrease. But also, if you look at the data, all right, so this is the spreadsheet data I have every single week laid out. If you look at some of the deliveries, for example, 777, you can tell that this is ES7, only 18 deliveries per week. Okay, and then you got certain weeks, for example, this week, let's take a look at 1 week where they did very, very well. 108 ES7s. You know, the ES7 has been NIO's weakest performing vehicle. I hate to say it, but poorest seller. Right, like 9 vehicles on this week. For the second week of June, only 9 vehicles, 9 ES7s sold in the entire week, whereas you have 148 ET7s and 65 EC7s on that week. Absolutely nuts. And what they're doing is, of course, they're giving away huge, massive incentives, up to 50,000 in free options for the ES7 to help boost sales of that vehicle, to bring that up, because people aren't really buying that vehicle. And the reasons why they're not buying that vehicle, well, that vehicle looks way too much like a Gen 1 NIO, and in lots of aspects it is very similar, like the door handles, the wheel arches, but other than that, I mean, everything inside the car is very much different. But that is a much more expensive car. People do rather buy the ES6 or the ES8, so rather than the ES7. Don't forget to check out our sponsor Exter. Use my promo code for extra percentage points off. Scan this QR code or visit the website down in the description below. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.